Message heavy, dope rhyme show, they not ready. Race against the time like four wheels and ends ready. Keep it steady, beat it hard and they barely give them ears and hear the truth in the light. Dope confetti, message heavy, dope rhyme show, they not ready. Race against the time like four wheels and ends ready. Keep it steady, beat it hard and they barely give them ears and hear the truth in the light. Dope confetti, just the flip of the watch, it's game time. Flip of the watch, it's game time. Vibes, just the flip of the watch, it's game time. Top 20, flip of the watch, it's game time. Just the flip of the watch, it's game time. 20, flip of the watch, it's game time. 5 to the flip of the watch, it's game time. 520, flip of the watch, it's game time. 520.
What's good? Welcome to another episode of the FiveTwenty Collective Podcast, where music meets ministry and the indie artists take center stage. Shout out to everyone listening to us on Anchor at anchor.fm/520-collective, and those listening to us on iHeartRadio. Just go to the search bar right there on iHeartRadio app, type in 520 Collective, and you'll find us. So make sure you do that. We appreciate everyone that's tuning in. And this episode is being sponsored by Worshipper and his upcoming project, The Return. Worshipper, spelled WORSHYPER, was delivered and transformed at the age of 18. He accepted the call on his life to transition from being a music artist to a kingdom artist. With his unique multicultural background, he renders a sound of his very own. Follow Worshipper on Twitter at Worship Music and Instagram at Worshipper for notifications on The Return. So again, welcome into the podcast. I am Eric Boston. I'm here with my guy, Nate Shelton. What's going on, man?
Oh, what's good? It's just been keeping up with all that music out there. Been some really dope projects, though.
Yeah, man.
It's been a good time for CHH.
Oh, for sure. And you guys know that you can tune in to FiveTwentyCollective.com to get the latest in what's happening around independent Christian hip hop. Also follow us on social media at 520CHH. That's Twitter. That is Instagram, Facebook, and we are on Discord as well. So make sure you hop in the server. If you want to hit up myself, I'm on Twitter at EricBoston3. That is at EricBoston3. Nate, where are people able to connect with you?
So you can find me on Twitter as well at IM_NateDog. Catch me over there. Keep up with all the latest independent CHH. And also throw in a little bit of sports talk if you're into that as well. I'm definitely down for a good sports conversation. So follow me on Twitter, and that's where we'll keep up with what's going on.
That's what's up, man. Well, we got some cool stuff that has been happening. One thing that's happened this past month, if you guys go to FiveTwentyCollective.com, you can check out, we got a Frontier store with some merch there, some different clothing lines, and we launched our newest clothing line, Nate, the Dot Wavemaker collection. And this is tied into something we're going to announce a little bit later this year, but it's pretty cool, man. We got t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve tees, and this is for the people that are creating music. They are making the waves throughout CHH, and a great way for them to showcase that with our Dot Wavemaker collection. Man, anything else that's been happening that I'm missing, Nate?
Well, like I said, there's a couple really really dope projects that have dropped here within the last probably month. The first one that I've been listening to a lot lately. Paris Cariz and Jerry Mana dropped Super Splash Bros 2. If you've listened to the first one, the second one, personally, I think blows it out of the water. It's like Jerry and Paris have always been a great combination because they're good friends and they work well with each other. And this one, they just seems like they perfected what they wanted to do. Jerry obviously joined Paris on his World 45 collective. But this EP, if you're into that vibe type music, some great stuff there. Check out Super Splash Bros 2. Also, 2 weeks ago, Jay Monty released his debut project since his release from Sony RCA, Free Me. It basically is the chronicle of that whole journey from being a record label artist to independent. Really a great writing. Obviously, Jay Monty is one of the more skilled writers out there, and he did a great job with that. So those are two projects you need to go check out if you haven't heard them already.
100%, man. And I know, Nate, you stay up on singles as well. Obviously, you run the Sauce playlist. That's the official playlist of 520 Collective, man. What are some songs that you added to the playlist this month that really stood out to you, and let the people know, man, how they can make sure to follow the playlist as well?
Of course. So you can go to Spotify, look for the Sauce on Spotify playlist. Follow that, keep it updated with all the newest independent CHH music. And it's always difficult when it comes to finding at least 5 songs that I would think really stand out right now. This month, obviously, no different. So kind of, obviously, these aren't ranked in particular order, but 5 songs right now that I'm really enjoying listening to. Our friend Christopher Sincere, he did a single with Chris Soul titled Up. Of course, he's on that new label that YB formed with Coop and 100 Gram, and I believe his name is Heinrich. I'm not really familiar with him as an artist, but that new label out there, Christopher Sincere, he's been getting some new music out. You'll check out Up. Also, Jake Soul and Just Call Me DT released a new single. That new collective that DT started, and forgive me, but I forgot the name of the collective.
It's the Hilltop, right?
Yes. But yeah, they released their debut single, Low Low. Great stuff. Check that out. Also, we got Jay Crom, a longtime friend of ours. He released a single with Lex Divine, Pipe Dream. I mean, it goes without saying, if you've heard any of his music, everything he does is top notch. And they're a great combination of them when they released that single. And a guy that really doesn't get talked about a lot in CHH here, mainly I think a lot of it is possibly because he's on the West Coast, but Mission released a single with Paris Cariz titled Bando. Mission's one of those guys, like I say, doesn't get talked about a lot, but everything he releases is really great. Great writer, great beats, production. So check those songs out. Those are my top 5 favorite songs on the playlist. Give it a follow, and like I said, keep up to date with all the newest independent CHH music that gets released.
Yeah, man, that is the Sauce playlist on Spotify. Guys, if you just go to FiveTwentyCollective.com, we got a link right to the playlist there on the homepage. So make sure you go follow, and like Nate said, get the latest in what's happening each week around independent Christian hip hop. So yeah, man. So Nate, there was a tweet that caught my eye this past week, man, that I wanted to share with you, and specifically talking about playlists. You know, we were just talking about the Sauce playlist, and obviously you're using that to try to showcase some of these independent artists in our space. You know, I'm not telling anyone anything new when I say that over the last, several years, playlists have kind of moved to the forefront just of the music landscape in general. So whenever I read this tweet from Stowe, he goes, his Twitter handle is @BigStowe. If you guys don't know who Stowe is, he is an artist consultant, and he does artist marketing. He publishes the Boom Bap Review. I believe there's two versions or 2 installments of that is out. So, he sells those books on Amazon. A pretty good follow, especially if you're an artist and you're looking just for tips and insight. I'd recommend make sure you're following @BigStowe if you're not. But he had this to say about playlists, Nate. He said, landing on playlists are fantastic, but there is rarely any connection between yourself and the person listening to said playlist, which is done intentionally. That being in quotations right there, or parentheses, which is done intentionally. It may make those numbers look good for a minute, but they're usually anonymous, and the essence of fan engagement is lost. So now I was really interested to see what your thoughts were on that statement from Big Stowe, especially being that you are a curator of a playlist.
Right. I mean, he made some big points there. I mean, playlists are a big deal for artists if you're trying to get your music out in front of people quickly and just kind of, start getting people's interest. Playlists are fantastic, but if you're trying to build a fan base, like you said, there's no personal engagement because that playlist is your one, maybe two songs on a list of a determined amount of songs with potentially 30, 40 different artists, and it's going to get lost in that playlist. So, like you said, while they're important to get your music out there, if you want real fans, you've got to promote your music on its own, separate from the playlist, so you can slowly build that fan base.
Yeah, man. The one thing that I guess I hadn't thought about, but it really jumped off of this post that Stowe made for me was that part that was in parentheses. It said that the connection between yourself as the artist and the person who's listening on the playlist, there's not really a connection there. But he takes it a step further. He says, not only is there not really a true connection there, it's done intentionally, right? Now, I mean, I think I could speculate a little bit on this, and I would say that it's obviously not the case, in our situation, specifically in your situation with the sauce, right, where this is it. But it's like, when you really start to unpack a little bit of what he's saying there, playlist curators of big playlists, their concern is not building your fan base. Their concern is, can I get more people that's following my playlist so I can say, hey, I've got this audience that I could put your music out to. And a bunch of these guys, especially on maybe some of the more mainstream playlists, they're looking to create revenue. They're looking to turn profit off of it, right? They have something that you as an artist essentially wants as a product, and they can get, money for that product, that they're bringing to the table. But so I feel like a lot of artists fall into this idea of, I just need to get on a playlist. I need to get on this playlist. I need to get on that. It's all about the playlist, and they totally put on the back burner the idea of actually truly connecting with fans that's going to support you each and every release. So then you have this, I don't want to say phenomenon, but I'm going to use it because I'm not thinking of a better word right now. But you have this occurrence of, maybe you get on a pretty big playlist, right? One of your songs gets on there, and all of a sudden, oh man, the numbers on my new single, it looks amazing. We've taken it to we've leveled up, y'all, and all this stuff, right? And then you release your next track, and maybe it doesn't hit a popular playlist, and your numbers again look a little lackluster, right? And then you can get to feeling down, like, whoa, maybe, what did I do? Where are the people, that was here for me on the last one? Well, there wasn't real supporters on that last one. You just got lucky enough to land on a playlist that a bunch of people have on in the background while they're doing other things, right? So you got the streams off of it. So while playlists are a good thing, and they are a part of the way music is done now, we've put them on this pedestal, right? Where it's like, okay, don't let this be your end goal. It's simply landing playlist placements. I think another interesting thing in another tweet that Stowe said was, your supporters, whenever you build those supporters up, like we're talking about, they're going to tweet about you. They're going to tell their friends about you. They're going to put you on their playlist, their personal playlist, right? Because they're a fan. They're going to buy your products and more. Then he ends it with, don't ignore that relationship. And I don't know, Nate. What do you feel like in our space, man? What about in Christian hip hop, man? Are people ignoring that relationship?
I think to agree, some are. It seems like it's slowly maybe becoming less about the playlist. I know there's still times where artists, maybe they're newer, I'm not sure what the situation is, but they release a single and then you don't hear anything about it after they've announced that the single dropped. So promotion is lacking on some ends. Some artists are really good at it, and others, like you said, it seems like some target that playlist, hope to get that, get the quote unquote revenue from the big playlist, which really doesn't pan out so much when you really break down the numbers.
Well, and I mean, it's instant satisfaction also, right? Like if you happen to get on Spotify's New Music Friday playlist, right, you're going to get a lot of immediate streams because that's a playlist people tune into, and that's going to feel good. That's going to, hit your ego, man. It's going to make you feel good about yourself. But the long game, the thing that takes effort, is is what's going to truly pay off in the end. Whenever you may start with 10 true fans, but if you can get 10 fans that are going to consistently, everything you drop, they're going to be there for it. And then, then you maybe get 15, then maybe you get 25 and so on. Like I say, it's a long game, but it's more of a solid foundation rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping that you get a placement.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, playlists are temporary. It's quick, instant satisfaction. You get some monetary gain out of it. But if you're really trying to build a music career, getting that fan base is going to create longevity, because those fans are going to not only listen to your music, they're going to purchase it, they're going to buy merchandise, they're going to go to your shows where most of if you're truly trying to make a career, or not even so much CHH trying to make a career out of it, but increase your if you're trying to minister to people, that it's gonna increase that by engaging with the fans and being genuine about the music and your intentions behind it, and not just targeting certain playlists to get on to boost your numbers.
Yeah, man. Well, let's bring it back around to the sauce, man. Like whenever you first created the sauce, and then you and I got together along with a couple other people, and we started talking about FiveTwenty Collective, and we just saw an opportunity with what you were doing ahead of time with the sauce, which when you first started, it was CHH, we got the sauce, right? So it's kind of morphed a little bit over time, but we saw this opportunity to take what you had started and merge it into this platform that we started building and make it the official playlist of FiveTwenty Collective. But just talk about your playlist, man. Like whenever you are looking at that, like what do you hope that not only the sauce can bring to artists in our space, but what's your hope for fans of Christian hip hop that tune into the sauce on a regular basis?
Obviously, number one for me is getting exposure for artists that I am a big fan of, or maybe I personally don't like them, but the music is good, the content is good, and I think that somebody out there is going to like them. Put them on that playlist. And on the other side of that, fans or hip hop enthusiasts in the CHH and the church space looking for good quality hip hop that's out there as opposed to what's in the mainstream music, they'll be keyed on to it, and it benefits everybody, because then that fan may find somebody they've never heard of before on the playlist. Maybe they get interested and dig a little further into who the artist is. Again, it's a playlist, so it's you never know what's going to happen, but that's kind of what my intention behind the whole thing to begin with was. And, you know, if you get a lot, obviously the playlist, you want to have a lot of followers, and it's to, you know, like you said, to raise awareness of other artists out there. So, that was basically my intention when I started the playlist, was to, one, get the music out there, and two, show people in the church that there is good quality hip hop out there that's not, that's the opposite of what the mainstream is.
For sure, man. And I want to come back to your final thought there about a lot of good music within CHH here in just a second. But I want to leave this conversation with a comment from our guy Zero, who's listening in live on the Discord. I bet y'all didn't know that. If you join our Discord server, that's right, we have a Discord here at 520 Collective, and you can get that link on 520collective.com. But if you join the server, you actually can have a chance to listen in while we're recording the 520 Collective podcast, get a little early glimpse of it. But Nate Zero said in the chat here on Discord, outside of the illusion of popularity that playlists provide, there's very little opportunities for live engagement for, quote, Spotify artists. It can lead artists into virtual careers. It's something to think about, man. I think you take what Zero saying, you hear your heart behind it, and then you listen to, you know, the words that like Stowe posted about it. There's a lot to consider as an artist, and even for us as a platform, whenever we say, hey, we're going to roll out a playlist, what's the intent behind it? What's the purpose? What's it going to do? You know, and make sure that we've got this idea in mind, this goal that we're striving with, and it's not just, okay, well, let's get a bunch of followers so that we can charge these artists to get on our playlist, right? But you talked about a lot of quality in CHH, man, and one of those guys that is up and coming and one of the coldest dudes in our space, man, is Prodi Da Prodigal. My guy Prodi out of Philly, North. Stand up, what? Dude, Prodi sent us one of his newest tracks that we are going to feature here on the podcast. I'm excited about this, man. Prodi's a killer. And it's featured song time, Nate. So, you guys know what's up. Our featured song is being sponsored by Show Me Christ Records. Make sure you hit up showmechristrecords.com. They are based in St. Louis, Missouri. And make sure you go to their YouTube page, where their newest episode of their CHH review, episode 2, is out now. It features, some reviews of songs by some of the guys that we are familiar with, including Honest T's newest track, Pour It Up, and a track from Nathan Graves. So make sure you go to YouTube, check it out, Show Me Christ Records, and showmechristrecords.com. But Nate, it is about that time, man, to check out the song Expensive Freedom by Prodi Da Prodigal. What you got to say about Prodi, man?
Oh, he's, you know, we've gotten familiar with him, Q-Flow, all the guys out there. There's some other guys you can follow, NCO. They bring it when they get the bars.
100%, man. 100% love what's going on in Philly. It's a resurgence of CHH. You know, it's one of the original birthplaces of Christian hip hop. I think it's safe to say that. So love what we're seeing now. So make sure you check out Expensive Freedom, Prodi Da Prodigal, and then stick around after the song when we come back in for our industry insider interview this month, man. It's exciting. We have Daryl from the Bookkeeper247.com that is joining us, talking about what's going on over at their platform. You guys know that the Bookkeeper247 has rocked with 520 Collective and the 520 Collective podcast pretty much from the get-go. So it's, you know, it's awesome that we finally were able to link up and get Daryl on the show and talk about what he's got going on at their platform. So check that out. Check out Expensive Freedom from Prodi Da Prodigal, and we will see you guys next month.
That's right, Z got there. They thought we couldn't do this. Let's go. Everything I gotta thank God for it. Expensive freedom, Jesus had to die for it. They can give me wheels, but I'ma still ride for them. Cause I'm planted on the gospel, homie, I'ma die for it. Everything I gotta thank God for it. Expensive freedom, Jesus had to die for it. They can give me wheels, but I'ma still ride for them. Cause I'm planted on the gospel, homie, I'ma die for it. I gave God my heart, now I'm living like my chest on. Righteousness tatted on flesh, I got my vest on. March towards the mark like fake nails, I press on. Devil throwing shots, I got full body on my Teflon. They still inflating COVID numbers, I got the black mama mind stay putting up Kobe's numbers. Faith for muster, move the Rockies, never roll, can't get rocky. Firmly planted, cannot rock me. Ivan Drago, I'm like Rocky. Climbing Jacob's ladder, no more Zans. Oh, yeah, this a bop, you a op. I'm a Viking mixed with ligand, boy, this not what you thought. Clear your mind, save your thoughts, clear your pride. Run to cross, salvation's free, Yeshua paid the cost. Everything I gotta thank God for it. Expensive freedom, Jesus had to die for it. They can give me wheels, but I'ma still ride for them. Cause I'm planted on the gospel, homie, I'ma die for it. Everything I gotta thank God for it. Expensive freedom, Jesus had to die for it. They can give me wheels, but I'ma still ride for them. Cause I'm planted on the gospel, homie, I'ma die for it. I know dudes still spending money from the 90s. Quick to grab the heater when situations get icy. I can't say too much cause the feds might indict me. Heavy burdens made me, boy, I never take them lightly. I soak in the truth while I give these tokens to you. Mike froze in the booth, I boldly boast for the roof. Spirit got me leaning, Holy Ghost got the juice. Wifey got the Nina, hope we don't put it to use. Sick with the writtens, that's a pandemic. I grip the tool so hard I left the pandemic. Cook the beat, chop it, bag it, then I send it. No chopper, no narco, I'm talking a blessed message. Everything I gotta thank God for it. Expensive freedom, Jesus had to die for it. They can give me wheels, but I'ma still ride for them. Cause I'm planted on the gospel, homie, I'ma die for it. Everything I gotta thank God for it. Expensive freedom, Jesus had to die for it. They can give me wheels, but I'ma still ride for them. Cause I'm planted on the gospel, homie, I'ma die for it. Hey Zeke, they thought we couldn't do this, John. We gonna separate the man from the boys. North Philly in the building. Truth music. You already know what I do.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Eric with FiveTwenty Collective and the FiveTwenty Collective podcast. I want to talk to you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way possible to make a podcast. Let me break it down for you. 1, it's free. That's right, no cost to use Anchor. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. So if you want to get on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and many, many more, then it's really, really easy, guys. You just set up an Anchor account at anchor.fm. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Again, make money, no minimum listeners. You're not going to find that anywhere else. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it's all in one place. So go right now and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And make sure you let them know you heard it on FiveTwenty Collective podcast. Welcome to this month's Industry Insider interview, brought to you officially by Bookkeeper247.com. What's good? Thank you for tuning in to another Industry Insider interview here on the FiveTwenty Collective podcast. Joining me this time on the Trackstars Podcast Network phone line. Man, y'all know that the Industry Insider interviews are always sponsored by the Bookkeeper247, and we've got the man behind it all with this time. We got Daryl from the Bookkeeper247, and normally I would give them a plug, but I'm going to throw it over to my man here because he can do it way better than me. Daryl, what's up, man? Tell us all about the Bookkeeper247, man. How do people check it out, and what do you got going on over there?
What's going on, Eric? Man, first of all, I want to thank you for having me today. And you can really follow us at thebookkeeper247.com. That's all one word. That's thebookkeeper247.com. But the easiest way to follow us is you just put in hashtag TBK247 on any of your web browsers, and we'll pop up everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, website. We are a Christian media outlet. We mostly work with a lot of indie artists. We started a podcast. We are behind the Mitch Durrell show that we started last year. We do featured artists and we write articles, and we always looking for help. So I am Daryl at the Bookkeeper247.com, and thank you again, Eric, for having me.
For sure, man, for sure. Well, we are thrilled, man. As everyone who's listened to the podcast knows, we've partnered up with you pretty much from the beginning on stuff, man. So we appreciate, your willingness to get behind what we're doing here at FiveTwenty, man. I know that, whenever you look at media platforms, that specifically cover independent Christian hip hop, the Bookkeeper247 is one of the premier platforms that do that, man. So it's exciting to be alongside you, be colleagues with you guys, and really just support one another. For the people who don't know, when did you guys start everything over there at the Bookkeeper?
Man, this has been a long process, but thank God for it. We actually this has made our 7th year that we've had the website up. It was in talks maybe a year before that, and we just kind of jumped into the space, Eric. And so we've been up, our platform has been up 7 years. We're still learning on the go. We're still human, so we make mistakes. We suck at marketing, so that's one of the big reasons too. But man, by the glory of God, we've just been able to be up for 7 years. This made our 7th year. I know for a fact, Lord willing, that we just paid for the URL for 3 more years. So we're praying that 10 years, we'll hit our 10-year mark before our subscription run out for this URL, and then many more, depending on what the Lord has planned for us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's an interesting story, I think, behind just what the Bookkeeper247 means, man. Why don't you lay that out there for us? How did just this title of Bookkeeper come to be, and what does it mean for you guys?
And I'll give you the short, condensed version. But, okay, so it started out, I wrote a book, Eric. That's how it started out. And I was just coming into, I had already confessed and gave my life to Christ, but I was just coming off of one of my most humbling and maybe hardest testimonies of my life. And the Lord convicted me, and I was talking to my brother, shout out to Al, my brother. He's just as much of a part of this as I am. It's just I'm the one that's probably more visual or talking on the phone with the interviews and everything that I do. But my brother is just much of a big part of this. So the condensed version was he was going back to school and for his doctor's degree, I believe. And he had to write a thesis. So Apple had just came out with this program for authors. So my brother told me that maybe I ought to try to do one of my childhood dreams and write a book. So I wrote a book. And my brother, which is my biggest inspiration, he's my younger brother. Well, one of my biggest inspirations in my life. He's my younger brother, but I always call him my older brother. And after he read the book that I wrote, he was like, wow, you may want to start doing this more often for a living. So what happened was we was trying to buy time to get the book edited, and we was going to self-publish and everything like that. So the artists on our team, shout out to Eric Elam, just started working at the job that I work at, Eric. and he's an artist. So we got to discussing, and God started lining things up. Not only was he was an artist, but he was a Christ follower also. So he draws in the book. We're trying to bring this book to light in a digital market. So I discussed the idea with him, and he drew the pictures for the book. So in this ebook, we're going to have pictures and music and everything like that. We're trying to bring this book to light. And this was a vision that God gave me. So to make a long story short, he jumped on the team. He started drawing the pictures. And one of the pictures in there, before, we know not to make graven images of God, but we have a guy in the book, holding the book, that's recording everything that's going on, right? So this is where the idea of the bookkeeper came from the writing process that I was going through writing this book. He made the silhouette, and I got impatient because we didn't have an editor or anything like that. And I threw the website up, and I went to YouTube, and I can't remember my first post there, but it might have been a Lecrae or a Bizzle post. And I learned how to embed, and I posted it, and there came the bookkeeper.
Yeah, man. And you're right in the middle of it, man. Like we said, especially for independent artists, man, like they know the bookkeeper. And you talked about how at first you were looking at like Bizzle and Lecrae and stuff, but you definitely have shifted to more of covering the independent artists, the up and coming guys. Not to say that you don't have anything with the more established artists, but it feels like you guys have shifted more into that lane of being a place that's going to support independent artists. Like, was that intentional, or is that something that just kind of happened as the platform developed?
I think that was God molding us to where he really wanted us to be. And if I'm honest, Eric, in my heyday, me and my friend, God rest his soul, he just passed this year, but we owned a record label right here in our local hometown in Birmingham, Alabama. And we put out so much negative music back then. So the big artists, like you said, I don't have any problem with connecting with the major labels in our space or anything like that. But with the indie artists that I love and that's helped me continue to keep going in this space, it's just the love that we receive back here. You never know how much you have blessed somebody until you get a text message or email saying, you have helped me so much. Thank you for your platform and your support. And it really had me focus on, like, God was showing me, look, I want you to be a bridge for these artists. And through the years, and I don't like the name call, but all the people that I call right now know that we're we do phone calls, we do prayers together. Thank you for inviting me to your devotions that you have, that you do in YouVersion. But I just got a text the other day, and I wasn't feeling bad, but I got one from Get 'em J. Joseph, and the text just said, I love you, bro. And it's things like that. Shine hit me up. Shine on me. Hit me up the other day. Man, bro, I love you. I appreciate what you're doing for the platform. Keep going. TC, the collector, hits me up. Man, that last podcast, it's like two people. It reminds me of two people after church in the back talking. So the encouraging words that I get from the indie artists is what really showed me that God wanted us to be in this lane. And I believe that God molded us to work more with them than the major labels. And I know this is no disrespect to the major labels, but I know that they have a budget. They have things they have to do. They're selling out shows and concerts and everything like that. So if we was on a scale, we understand that we're not at the top of the food chain when it comes to Christian rap, but we are on the chain. So the people that the indie artists just seem more thankful, Eric, if I could sum it up by saying that.
Yeah, man, for sure. No, I get it. We're right there with you. Again, guys, on the Trackstars Podcast Network phone line with me, it's Daryl from the Bookkeeper247.com. A couple of things that you mentioned, not only have you been just kind of perfecting and evolving what you do as far as like your content on your site, but over this past year, you've been adding some new content lanes to it as well. You talked about you guys have partnered up with Mitch Durrell for the Mitch Durrell Show, and you've dove into your own podcast, the Behind the Mic Show. Just talk a little bit about that. What led you to deciding, hey, we need to maybe have a couple other just like avenues that we can be putting content out on instead of just posting to the site and getting more into this audio and visual, field that is obviously super popular at this point.
FiveTwenty Collective.
Oh, come on now.
Nah, I'm just playing. Nah, I'm dead serious. You have, and this is a shout out, shameless shout out to you and Nate. You have motivated us or me in certain ways to move. But to add with that, because I love what y'all doing and I love what you all are building over there at FiveTwenty Collective. But to add to your question, the Mitch Durrell Show, how it came along. I seen Mitch doing an interview on Instagram with Chris Noel. And I looked at that interview on Instagram, Eric, and I said, man, this man can interview. Now, I know he's an indie artist, and Rap Should Just Be Fun came out. Good album. Y'all go out there and grab it if you haven't. And the Lord kind of spoke to me. And I'm not a visual person. My brother, he's not a visual person. Eric, the artist, he's not a visual person. And the pastor, you know what pastor duties are. So he has no time to be visual, right? And I know that the direction, everything, people have a short attention span. So I know that visual and audio was the next move for us. So with Mitch, I reached out to him. I even called you and we talked a little bit about it. But with Mitch, I reached out to him and he said, man, I'd love to do something like that. I've been wanting to do something like that. And that's how the Mitch Durrell Show has come along. And I thank God for Mitch Durrell and the platform. The YouTube, he's helping our YouTube channel. He's helping our email list. He's helping our visits to the website. He is really doing his part in his interviews. If you can tell by the guests, I believe our first guest was TC, the Collector. And our last two guests, well, I know in season 2 alone, well, season 1, he's had J. Crumb on there, Dre Murray. He's had season 2, he's had Loso. He's had Bax, Alcott, Dayton. So it just seems like it's revolving, and that what the Lord gave me in the insight of that young man was great. And so when I prayed about it for Mitch, because I really had to pray here, to be honest with you, because I wanted to make sure that this is where the Lord was leading me to. And the Lord told me to go. So when I reached out to Mitch, he automatically accepted it. I love Mitch because it's helping me. I'm the one behind the scenes. So what the Mitch Durrell Show does, if you go back and you see episode 1 with TC, and then you go now and look at season 2 with Alcott, you have seen the visuals has come up, the background music has came together. We just added B+ with a segment in the video, and it's helping me with my editing skills, something that I love to do behind the scenes. And it's just been a blessing. And the way Behind the Mic came was basically what I told you before. I just love indie artists. And I'm going to give a shout out to you again. You sent me a microphone and you said we would love to hear your voice in this space. Also, Getting Jay sent me a microphone and some other stuff. I'm not too technical, but I put all the stuff together and he does the intro for the show. You've helped me with that journey. And Get 'em Jay just told me, because at one time I was feeling like I'm too old to be in this space. But Get 'em Jay had a heart-to-heart with me and said, people need to hear your voice, your wisdom, what you've been through. And that's how the podcast came along. So I appreciate you for what you did in your heart, and I appreciate Get 'em Jay and everybody that supports us on that platform.
Yeah, man, I can back up what Jay is saying, man. You know, you and I have had a lot of conversation over the last, 2 or 3 years, I guess, man. Time's going by so fast. It's crazy, man. But you know, you and I have built a relationship, and we talk on a pretty regular basis, and I can tell you that I learn a ton from talking to you. So I appreciate that. And obviously the hub for that is the website, the Bookkeeper247.com. So let's just talk about that for a minute, man, for people who are listening that maybe have not visited the site. What's some of the things that they definitely need to check out? I know you guys kind of did a little revamp just on the overall look not too long ago. Just talk about what's happening there on the site.
Yeah. Speaking of the revamp, we about to revamp again. But I'm actually rebuilding the site from scratch on my own, because I don't have, I've got some astronomical quotes on rebuilding the website. So, and that's just not in the budget. But when you come to our website, man, we have Christian hip hop videos. We have the single releases. We have the album releases. We have the must-have albums. We have album reviews. We have devotions. We have, man, there's so much stuff we have up there. But we are condensing that mostly to music, videos, and devotions. So the devotions that a lot of them, my brother and I wrote personally, but I just don't have the time anymore like I used to sit down and write. But yeah, if you come to the website, I'm pretty sure you can find something that you're looking for. And like I said, we would still like to feature the artists that we feel should be on everybody's radar. And if I could add, Eric, I would say we even have artists up there that may not be sonically ready yet, that may not be the best rapper, but we love the message and we love the heart. So what's behind us is, I don't turn anyone down as long as it's Christian music if you want to submit to us. Because who am I to say that your message is not for your mother that may be struggling? It may be for your dope fiend brother that may be struggling. It may be for your aunt that's an alcoholic. Your music and your testimony may be just helping the people in your circle. So you can come submit to us as long as your message is good. And yeah, for everybody visiting, we got something for everybody up there.
Yeah, man, I'm just kind of going through the site right now, man. You guys have added a lot to it. I mean, you got obviously your shows that you're doing. You've got your artwork. You got a shop with some merch in there. But one thing that's kind of cool is you got some pretty cool services that you've got intertwined with the skills that you have on the team there, including Eric with his artwork, man. Talk about a little bit of that, man. If I'm an independent artist and I'm trying to figure out, okay, where can I get support? Where is going to be a place where I can spend my dollars? You know, maybe I don't have a lot of dollars to spend, but I want to be wise with what I do have into my budget. Talk about what kind of services the Bookkeeper offers.
Man, we got all kind of services from $5 to maybe $75, and with the right email and conversation, we could even package some deals for you. But most of our services are like, we have our $5 radio drop. So if you have any new music coming out or new videos and you want to promote it on the podcast, then you could do that. We have a social media package that we put together. I'm not looking at the prices there, but I want to say it's less than $25 to $20, where we're going to put you up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if I really like the music within them services, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to sit down in the lab and I'm going to put a little promo video together for you, right? But I think that's in that package also. We have other services where artists, man, we got one of the best artists, God-given talent artists on the team in the game. And if you want a selfie, if you want something drawn personal for you, we even have that type of service that more not be for the music, but more, if you want a family portrait, come holler at us. We got them because our artist has blessed us to be able to share his skill. And it's really for a low price, Eric, to be honest. I want to say, I don't know what them selfies running for, but I know it's less than $100 or $75. I know this. And then with the services too, I will add that most of our services is going to come with a little extra, because I'm going to do what I can to elevate you and get you in front of our people. And it may only be one, but you never know who that one person will be.
Well, you mentioned the social media accounts, man. I think, you know, it's a good thing to go ahead and plug those. Where do people follow you on social media? I know you said Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. What do they need to hit up?
Yeah, on Twitter, I believe it's at Bookkeeper247. And on Facebook and Instagram, it's at that's THE, Bookkeeper247.com. But we're everywhere. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. But the website is really our driving force for everything. So if you just put in hashtag TBK247, you'll be able to find us everywhere.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, man, you know, I've got to ask, just being a fellow platform founder and operator in this space, man, like when you're looking at independent Christian hip hop, if you had to say one thing that has you excited moving forward, what's the one thing that you are excited about, what you're seeing happening in the space?
The music getting better. The production is getting better. Even this last Indie Tribe project, I looked at how the space celebrated each other. I think that's great, Eric. You're on social media. We're in some of the same group chats. And I think that we don't celebrate each other enough. And that's one thing that I love about FiveTwenty Collective, because you don't mind reaching out. You don't mind retweeting. You don't mind DMing. That's one thing I like about other platforms too that we affiliate with. But I love to see us Christ followers celebrating each other. It's like your show, Beyond the DM. It's bigger than the music. This is a race to the finish line, like Paul talked about. And whether we have to walk, crawl, run, or skip, he said it's a marathon. So we need, as a body, this is a body, this is a ministry. I understand we get into the label calling. And I don't know what God has led that artist if he's a Christian hip hop artist or an artist that's Christian. But we get into so many debates over the years since I've been in the space. This has been an actually great time to see us celebrate together for a win for other individuals that we had no. You could see God move that album. I think it hit number 2 on iTunes and number 8 on Spotify. I think No Big Deal just said. So to see the body celebrate a win like that, that's a great thing, Eric. I love that. Hope I see more of that going in the future.
For sure, no doubt. Well, we are hitting that halfway point of the year, man. So as we look forward to the second half of 2021, man, like what do people need to be kind of keeping their eye on when it comes to the Bookkeeper247.com, man? Like any things that you got on the horizon or in the works that you're able to share with us?
Oh, yes, sir. You can be on the lookout, Lord willing, by the end of the year. Eric, I believe we're finally ready to drop this book. We're in the last process of editing. It's been a journey, and you know how it is. You're in our space. The Lord really hasn't blessed us with a big time editor to edit the project, and it's all been on me. I haven't wanted to put it out, but I will share this. You can be looking out for this book called Real Love, the Douglas Story. Should be hitting out around December, Lord willing. We have me as the author. We have Eric Ellens as the artist. My brother is the editor. And not too long ago, I'm going to share this news on here. Get 'em Jay is going to be in charge of the music that goes on this project. So he's going to, he's going to be reaching out to a couple of indie artists or whatever he's got planned and putting this soundtrack together for us from the book. So that is the biggest thing that, Lord willing, we're praying that will happen by the end of the year.
Get them. Come on now. Come with it. So, yeah, man, we'll be looking forward to that. I know you and I have talked about this book. I know it's been, a passion, and it means a lot for you. So I'm excited to see that all come into fruition, man. Man, Daryl, I know it's been a while, man. We've talked about getting you on the show, and for whatever reason, it's taken us this long. But I'm glad that you have been here, man. And again, thank you for your continued support of FiveTwenty Collective and the podcast, and just your friendship, man, and that mentorship that you've given to me, man. I appreciate it a ton. Excited for what's going to happen, the rest of the year and moving forward, man. I know that God's got big stuff in store for the Bookkeeper 24/7, and so it's pretty cool to be able to watch as that happens, man, for sure. So, but we're glad that you took the time out to hop on the podcast with us, sir. Anything that you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, Eric, I want to share just a couple of things real quick. I gave all these shout outs, but I want to give 2 last shout outs. I want to give shout out to God for giving us the strength to make a difference in people's life. And Eric, before I go, I got to give a shout out to my wife. If I would give any advice to any household as a Christian, make sure you have support from your family. And my wife is my biggest supporter, because you know how it is running the platform. So when you have security charges coming out here, website fees coming out here, spam fees coming out here, my wife, she don't say nothing there. She just looks at the bill, we pay it, and we keep going. So I definitely want to shout out God and my wife. And I'd like to close by shouting out you, Eric. You've been a great friend. You've actually motivated me to help me to continue to keep going. I believe when you contacted me the first time and you reached out, you said, Daryl, we've been looking at your website for a while. I don't know how to read numbers. I don't know how to do Google Analytics or anything, but that really meant a lot to me. So I appreciate what you and Nate are doing in this space. I appreciate everything that you all are doing at FiveTwenty Collective. I want to shout out Picasso. That was a great add to you all staff. And that's it, man. That's what's up. I appreciate you having me, Eric.
Oh, for sure, man. We love you around here, man. You know that. So, if you guys want to connect with Daryl, you guys heard all the ways you can on the Bookkeeper and on the social media. You can also hop into the FiveTwenty Collective Discord server, because I know a certain man who is in there as well. You might be able to connect with him on some of our lives. So make sure you do that. But big shout out to Daryl and the whole team at the Bookkeeper247 for helping make this FiveTwenty Collective podcast possible. Like every month, our sponsor for the Industry Insider interview. And thank you for tuning in and listening this month. Shout out to the other podcast episode sponsors. And we will be checking in with you guys next month.